Ma'am, the security guard asked you to leave 3 times. This area is rented out for a wedding setup. You need to move.
I am aware of what the rent-a-cop said. And I explained to him, and now I'm explaining to you, that this is the City Botanical Garden. It's funded by the taxpayers. I'm a taxpayer, therefore I'm not leaving until I finish my lunch.
The air in the botanical gardens is usually filled with the scent of blooming jasmine and the sound of trickling water, but today, it is thick with the distinct, suffocating tension of a standoff. You are watching through the lens of my body camera as I approach a woman who has decided that her tax dollars give her the right to crash a private event. She is sitting in the center of a gazebo that has been cordoned off with velvet ropes and closed for private event signs. She is eating a kale salad with the deliberate slowness of someone who knows they're being watched and simply does not care. Her name is Veronica. She doesn't look like a criminal. She looks like a PTA mom, dressed in a sharp blazer and designer sunglasses. But do not let the appearance fool you. Veronica is about to turn a simple request to move 10 feet to the left into a felony conviction. Most people think that arrests happen in dark alleys or during high-speed chases. But in my 10 years on the force, I have learned that the most volatile confrontations often happen in the most beautiful places, triggered by the smallest things. Today, the trigger isn't a gun or a drug deal. It is a salad. Veronica believes that because this garden is owned by the city, she owns every square inch of it. She believes that the closed sign is a suggestion, not a rule. She is about to learn the hard way that the concept of public property is not a magic shield against the law. As I step over the velvet rope she has already knocked down, I can see the defiance in her eyes. She isn't just eating lunch, she is staging a protest against reality. And reality is about to push back. If you want to see exactly how an entitled ego collapses under the weight of legal statutes and why you should never argue property law with a cop while holding a fork, make sure you hit that subscribe button. We bring you the raw, unfiltered truth of police work that you won't see on the news. Now, let's enter the gazebo. Ma'am, the security guard asked you to leave 3 times. This area is rented out for a wedding setup. You need to move. I keep my voice low, professional. This is the ask phase of the ask-tell-make continuum. I am giving her a chance to be a reasonable human being. Veronica doesn't even look up from her plastic container. She stabs a piece of lettuce with aggressive precision. I am aware of what the rent-a-cop said, she replies, chewing loudly. And I explained to him, and now I am explaining to you, that this is the City Botanical Garden. It is funded by the taxpayers. I am a taxpayer. Therefore, I am not leaving until I finish my lunch. She says it with such absolute conviction that for a split second, you almost want to believe her. It is the confidence of someone who has never been told no in her entire adult life. I take a step closer, resting my thumbs on my duty belt. I understand your perspective, ma'am. But while this is public property, it is currently a restricted area. The city rents out this specific pavilion. Right now, it is leased to a private party. You are trespassing. Veronica finally looks at me. She lowers her sunglasses, revealing eyes that are cold and mocking. Trespassing? In a public park? That is an oxymoron, officer. That is like saying I am stealing my own car. You need to go back to the police academy and learn the law. I have a right to be here. This is public land. I am the public. Do the math. She waves her fork at me dismissively, as if I am a waiter who brought her the wrong wine. She has no idea that she has just initiated a sequence of events that will end with her in the back of my cruiser. Ma'am, let me give you an analogy, I say, trying one last logical approach. The public library is also owned by the taxpayers. But if you try to sleep in the aisles or scream during reading time, they can kick you out. Public ownership does not mean unrestricted access. It is a solid argument. It usually works. But Veronica isn't interested in logic. She is interested in dominance. She laughs, a dry, humorless sound. We are not in a library. We are outside, God's green earth, and I am eating a salad. Are you really going to arrest a woman for eating a salad? Is that what our tax dollars are going towards? Harassing women on their lunch break? She is pivoting. This is a classic manipulation tactic. She is trying to frame the interaction as ridiculous to make me feel foolish. She wants me to think, man, this isn't worth the paperwork. She is banking on my laziness. But she miscalculated. I am not lazy. I am patient, but I have a job to do. The wedding planners are standing 20 feet away, looking terrified. They paid $2,000 for this space. My duty is to protect their rights, not Veronica's lunch hour. I am not harassing you, I state firmly. I am enforcing a trespassing warning. The security guard, who is the agent of the owner right now, told you to leave. You refused. I am telling you to leave. If you refuse again, you will be arrested. This is your final warning. The air shifts. The word, arrest, hangs between us. Usually, this is the moment people pack up their bags and mutter insults under their breath as they walk away. But Veronica is different. She puts her fork down. She squares her shoulders. She has decided to die on this hill. I want a supervisor, she demands. Her voice has lost the mocking tone and replaced it with icy command. I am not speaking to you anymore. You clearly don't know the statutes. Call your sergeant. I want him here, now. The supervisor trap. It is the, let me speak to your manager, of the law enforcement world. Civilians often think that requesting a supervisor pauses the encounter, like calling a timeout in a football game. They think I have to freeze in place and wait for a boss to arrive. They are wrong. I can call a supervisor, ma'am, I reply, but I am not waiting for them to arrest you. You are actively trespassing right now. You can talk to the sergeant from the back of my car. This stuns her. She blinks, her mouth slightly open. You can't do that, she stammers. I made a request. You have to honor it. That is procedure. No, ma'am. That is customer service. This is law enforcement. I am the lead investigator on this scene. You have been given a lawful order. Stand up. I move my hand to my handcuffs. The click of the retention snap is loud in the quiet garden. Veronica's eyes dart to my belt. For the first time, fear flickers behind the arrogance. But her ego is too big to let her back down. She pulls out her phone. I am recording this. I am live streaming. You are denying me my rights. She holds the phone up, shoving the camera lens into my face. Say hello to the internet, Officer Tyrant, she shrieks. Tell everyone why you are attacking a woman for eating lunch. The performance has begun. She is no longer talking to me. She is performing for an imaginary audience of validation. She wants to be the victim. She wants the viral clip where she looks like a martyr. I remain calm. I have been filmed 1,000 times. Ma'am, put the phone down and stand up. You are under arrest for trespassing. I reach out to take her arm. She recoils as if I am radioactive. Don't touch me. Do not touch me. That is assault. She scrambles backward on the bench, knocking over her salad. Kale and dressing spill onto the pristine white gazebo floor. Look what you made me do. She screams. You ruined my lunch. It is absurd. We are standing over a pile of spilled lettuce, and she is screaming about assault. But this is the reality of entitlement. She cannot process that her actions have consequences. In her mind, the spilled salad is my fault, the trespassing is the city's fault, and the arrest is a violation of the natural order where she is the queen. Turn around, I command. I am done asking. I grab her left wrist. It is firm, professional control. Get your hands off me. Veronica screams, turning her body into a rigid plank. She is tensing every muscle, refusing to put her hands behind her back. This is active resistance. I am not going. I did not do anything. I use a leverage technique, twisting her wrist slightly to force her arm back. It doesn't injure her, but it is uncomfortable. Stop fighting, or you will be charged with resisting arrest. I warn her. I'm not fighting. I'm just sitting. She yells. This is a lie. She is pulling away with significant strength. She tries to hook her other arm around the gazebo railing. She is anchoring herself to the structure. Help. Help. Police brutality. She screams at the terrified wedding planners. They don't move. They just watch, wide-eyed. They know who the villain is in this story, and it isn't the guy in the uniform. I finally manage to wrench her arm free from the railing. I slap the first cuff on. Click. The sound is definitive. Give me your other hand. I order. She tucks her right hand under her chest, curling into a ball on the bench. No, you're hurting my shoulder. I have a bad rotator cuff. This is another common tactic, the medical emergency card. Suspects suddenly develop chronic injuries the moment the cuffs come out. Ma'am, give me your hand or you are going to get tased, I lie. I am not going to tase her for this, but the threat often cuts through the hysteria. It works. She hesitantly releases her arm. I grab it and snap the second cuff on. Click. She is secure. The physical battle is over, but the psychological war is just beginning. I hoist her up from the bench. Let's go. Veronica goes limp. She turns her legs into jelly. It is the passive resistance dead weight maneuver. She wants me to drag her. She wants the optics of a police officer dragging a woman through a garden. It looks terrible on camera, and she knows it. I can't walk. My legs are numb. You broke my legs. She wails. I am not playing this game. Ma'am, I saw you walk in here. Your legs are fine. If you don't walk, I will carry you, and it will be much less dignified. I grab her by the arm and the back of her blazer, keeping her upright. She stumbles, pretending to faint, then realizes I am not letting her hit the ground. She finds her footing, scowling. You are going to lose your pension for this, she hisses. I know the mayor. I went to school with the chief of police. That's great, ma'am. You can tell them all about it when you make your phone call. We start the long walk out of the garden. The path is gravel, and her heels crunch loudly. She is muttering to herself now, a stream of consciousness about lawsuits and civil rights violations. This is kidnapping. You are kidnapping me. I did not consent to this trip. That makes it kidnapping. She is throwing legal terms against the wall, hoping something sticks. Kidnapping, false imprisonment, assault, none of it applies. A lawful arrest is, by definition, not kidnapping. But in Veronica's world, any restriction on her freedom is a crime against humanity. She sees the patrol car in the distance, parked by the main gate. The sight of the cage seems to trigger a new wave of panic. I'm thirsty, she suddenly yells. I need water. You have to give me water. It's a human right. We have been walking for 45 seconds. She is not dehydrated. She is looking for a delay. She wants me to stop, to cater to her, to give her back some control. You'll get water at the station, I tell her, keeping the pace steady. You denied me water. That is torture. She screams. We reach the car. I open the back door. Watch your head. Veronica stops. She plants her feet. I am not getting in that thing. It smells like vomit. She wrinkles her nose. I drive a Lexus. I don't ride in dog cages. You are riding in this one, I say, placing my hand on her head to guide her in. She stiffens. Then, she drops the nuclear bomb of accusations. She looks directly at my body camera and screams, he touched my breast. He just grabbed my boob. Did you see that? Sexual assault. I freeze for a microsecond. This is the most dangerous moment for an officer. A false allegation of sexual misconduct can ruin a career faster than a bullet. But I know my hand placement was perfect, on her upper arm and the back of her head. The camera sees everything. Ma'am, the camera is rolling. Do not lie. Get in the car. I push her firmly into the seat. She flails, kicking at the doorframe, but I manage to get her legs inside and slam the door. I walk around to the driver's seat, my heart rate slightly elevated. That accusation angered me. It was a calculated, vicious attempt to destroy me because she was losing. It reveals the depth of her character. She is willing to ruin a man's life over a trespassing charge. I get in and turn on the air conditioning. She is screaming from the back seat, kicking the plexiglass partition. Thump, thump, thump. You are a predator, she yells. I am going to have your badge. My husband is a lawyer. You made a huge mistake, buddy. I ignore her. I pull up the computer to start the arrest report. I need her info. I turn around. Ma'am, what is your name? I don't answer questions. She spits. I plead the fifth. I want my lawyer. You have the right to remain silent, I explain, but you have to identify yourself. You are detained for a criminal offense. If you don't give me your name, you are adding an obstruction charge. I am Jane Doe, she mocks. I am a citizen of the world. You don't need my name. Okay, Jane Doe it is. I start driving. The refusal to identify is the final nail in her coffin. In our state, failure to identify during a lawful detention is a misdemeanor. If she persists, she will be booked as a John Doe, which means no bond, no phone calls, and no release until her prints come back from the FBI database. It turns a 2-hour processing ordeal into a weekend stay in the county jail. She doesn't realize this. She thinks she is being clever. She thinks that if I don't know her name, I can't process her. She is operating on movie logic. She believes she can beat the system by simply opting out of the administrative parts. Where are we going? She demands as we leave the park. Take me back to my car. I have to pick up my kids. The mention of kids is a sudden pivot to the sympathetic mother role. 5 minutes ago she was a legal scholar, now she is a concerned parent. If you have children, you should have thought about them before you refused to leave the park, I say. It is harsh, but it is true. You are a monster, she sobs. The tears have started. Real tears? Probably not. They are tears of frustration. Tears of a narcissist who cannot believe the world is treating her this way. I just wanted to eat my lunch. It was a kale salad. It was healthy. Why do you hate healthy people? The absurdity is almost funny. She is trying to make this about the salad again. She wants to minimize the crime. In her narrative, she is a health-conscious victim, and I am the junk food-eating oppressor. It's not about the salad, ma'am. It's about the trespassing. It's public property. She screams, resetting the loop. We are back to square one. She cannot let go of the public property fallacy. It is the bedrock of her delusion. If she admits she was wrong about the property, she admits she is a criminal. Her ego cannot survive that. We arrive at the precinct. The Sally Port door rolls up with a metallic clatter. I drive into the secure garage. The echo of the engine is the only sound until Veronica starts up again. Is this the dungeon? Are you taking me to the dungeon? She is being dramatic. It is a standard garage. I open the back door. Let's go. Watch your step. She refuses to move. I am not coming out. I live here now. She crosses her arms, handcuffed, looking like a petulant child. I am claiming squatters' rights in this car. Ma'am, if you don't come out, I will pull you out. And it won't be gentle. I am done with the games. I reach in, grab her arm, and pull. She comes tumbling out, landing on her feet but stumbling on purpose to make it look rough. Brutality. She whispers, as if saving her voice for the judge. Inside the booking room, the sergeant is waiting. He is a large man with zero patience for nonsense. What do we have? He asks. Trespassing, resisting without violence, obstruction, and she refuses to ID. I list the charges. The sergeant looks at Veronica. Name? He barks. Veronica looks at him, sizing him up. She decides to try the charm offensive. Officer, your subordinate here is out of control. He assaulted me. He wouldn't call you. I demanded a supervisor. I'm the supervisor, the sergeant says flatly. And you are in handcuffs, so clearly, you didn't listen. What is your name? I don't have to tell you, she says, lifting her chin. I want a lawyer. You'll get a lawyer when you see the judge, the sergeant says. Book her as Jane Doe. No bond. Veronica's face drops. No bond? What does that mean? It means you stay here until we figure out who you are, the sergeant says, turning back to his computer. Could be a few hours. Could be Monday. It is Friday afternoon. The blood drains from her face. Monday is 3 days away. Wait, she panics. My name is Veronica. Veronica Miller. I have ID in my purse. The tough facade crumbles instantly at the threat of a weekend in jail. The reality of the consequences has finally pierced the bubble of her entitlement. Too late, the sergeant says, though he is bluffing to teach her a lesson. We already started the Jane Doe paperwork. No, please. I'm sorry. I'm Veronica. Look, here. She tries to gesture to her purse, which I am holding. I open it and pull out her license. Veronica Miller. Address in the wealthiest district of the city. Technical director at a software firm. Okay, Veronica, I say. Now we are getting somewhere. I hand the ID to the booking clerk. She is fingerprinted. The ink stains her manicured fingers. She looks at her hands with disgust. This is the moment of maximum humiliation. She is being processed like a common criminal, standing next to guys arrested for brawling and theft. She is not special here. The jail is the great equalizer. As she is led to the holding cell, she turns to me one last time. You haven't heard the last of this, she says, but her voice is weak. I am going to sue the city. I am going to sue you personally. Get in line, I say. The door clanks shut. Through the small window, I see her sit down on the concrete bench. She pulls her knees up to her chest. She looks small. The blazer is wrinkled. The sunglasses are gone. She is just a woman who made a series of terrible decisions over a salad. I sit down to write my report. I have to document every second. The trespassing warning, the refusal, the supervisor demand, the resistance, the sexual assault accusation. That last one requires a special supplemental report. I have to protect myself. I review the body cam footage. It is crystal clear. Her hand never touched my chest. My hand never touched her inappropriately. The camera saved me. Without it, it would be her word against mine, and in the court of public opinion, that is a dangerous place to be. Let's break down the legal reality of what we just watched. The public property myth is the most common misconception I deal with. People confuse public with unlimited. A park is public, but it closes at dusk. A courthouse is public, but you can't walk into the judge's chambers. When the city rents a space to a private entity, like a wedding or a concert, that space becomes temporarily private. The leaseholder has the right to exclude people. Veronica was essentially crashing a wedding, using the "I pay taxes" excuse as a ticket. Furthermore, the supervisor demand is a myth. There is no law, state or federal, that requires a police officer to cease an investigation to call a boss. It is a courtesy, nothing more. By refusing to comply until a supervisor arrived, Veronica wasn't exercising a right, she was creating a standoff. She was manufacturing a conflict where none needed to exist. And finally, the ID refusal. In a stop and ID state, or in any state once you are arrested, you must identify yourself. It is the first step of the legal process. By refusing, Veronica turned a simple citation and release situation into a book and hold situation. She literally talked herself into a jail cell. The psychology of Veronica is fascinating and terrifying. It is narcissistic entitlement. She genuinely could not conceive of a world where her desires, eating her lunch in that specific spot, did not outweigh the rules of the society. When reality conflicted with her desires, she attacked reality. She attacked the security guard, she attacked me, she attacked the law itself. The accusation of sexual assault is the darkest part of this. It shows a willingness to destroy another human being to save face. It is a weaponization of victimhood. She tried to use the very serious issue of sexual violence as a get-out-of-jail-free card. It didn't work, but the attempt alone speaks volumes about her character. This is why body cameras are essential. They don't just catch bad cops, they expose bad suspects. They provide an objective record of truth in a world where truth is often twisted by emotion and ego. Veronica spent 6 hours in a holding cell before her husband bailed her out. He didn't look happy when he arrived. I saw them arguing in the lobby. I couldn't hear the words, but the body language was clear. He was furious. She was defensive. She will likely take a plea deal. Trespassing and obstruction. She will pay a fine, do some community service, and have a permanent record. Every time she applies for a job, that background check will pop up. Every time she gets pulled over, the officer will see "resisting arrest" on her file. The consequences of that kale salad will last for years. Was it worth it? Was the principle of public property worth the humiliation, the legal fees, and the criminal record? Veronica probably tells her friends she was a martyr. She probably spins a story where she was the victim of a police state. But deep down, she knows. She knows she had an exit ramp. She could have just moved 20 feet to the left. She chose not to. As I leave the precinct that night, I drive past the botanical garden. The wedding is in full swing. I can see the lights of the gazebo glowing in the darkness. People are dancing. Music is playing. It is a beautiful scene. I think about how easily peace can be shattered by one person who refuses to follow the rules. Policing is often just that, managing the friction between individual ego and collective order. Veronica wanted to be the main character of the park. Instead, she became a cautionary tale. So, here is the question I want to leave you with. When Veronica accused me of sexual assault to try and stop the arrest, do you think there should be an additional criminal charge for making a false report against an officer? Or is that just part of the heat of the moment that we have to accept? Let me know your thoughts in the comment. Do remember to hit the subscribe button, like and share this story, and I'll see you in the next one.